We are back at it, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. It's time to do another Raw review. Now, I really enjoyed Raw. I did. And personally, the main roster has delivered one of their very first 5-star classics in a long time. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm not going to be one of those fans that's going to come along and try to ruin it all, ruin the excitement, all because of their selfishness, or just their pure hatred. I am going to be honest with you, every single one of you, and I'm going to call it straight down the middle. In my personal opinion, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Sasha Banks was absolutely a 5-star classic for Monday Night Raw. More importantly, it got 2 "This is awesome" chants. Not many matches can get the same chant twice. NXT gets it at least once every match. I don't think it's been any possible for WWE to get a "This is awesome" chant for one match twice. And the fact that they've gone back to Madison Square Garden, the most liveliest crowd ever. The most liveliest. And I mean that. The Madison Square Garden people are the most liveliest crowd you would ever hear. I know this firsthand because back in my early days when I was watching WWE, back in my early days, they went to Madison Square Garden a lot. Not every week, obviously. They would go there for big events like SummerSlam, WrestleMania, big episodes of Raw, big episodes of SmackDown. You know, they used to go there a lot. So I know this firsthand that Madison Square Garden is one of the most liveliest crowds you would ever hear on WWE television. People can say what they want. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, if you're going to say shit like this woman's match was a house show, then was a house show style match, then clearly there is something wrong with you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. You gotta praise some stuff that WWE give, man. I just don't like when people just want to be all negative. That's the thing I don't like. Sure, I may come off negative at times, but I do it in a way where it's not, mean, where I'm not trying to insult people's intelligence or say stupid shit to make myself look like an idiot. This women's tag team match was a classic. And you can't change my mind on that. Becky and Charlotte, Bayley and Sasha, I give you girls a round of applause for giving us the best match of 2019 on the main roster. So the show started off with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was monitoring the contract signing between Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. And then out came the OC to interrupt. And AJ Styles was insulting Stone Cold. And a brawl went down. And AJ Styles took a Stone Cold Stunner. Because AJ Styles called Stone Cold an old fart. So then AJ Styles would go on to battle Cedric Alexander. And Cedric Alexander would go on and win by disqualification due to outside interference by Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. And then an unlikely duo by the name of the Viking Raiders came down and assisted Cedric Alexander in his 3-on-1 beatdown against the OC. So the OC were beating him down, and the Viking Raiders came out to assist him. And the OC had a Viking experience, if you know what I mean. Roman Reigns came out. He was introduced to the Connor's Cure cancers for tomorrow. And honestly, I give a lot of respect for Roman to do this, because we all know the stuff that he goes through with cancer and everything, you know. And despite what people think of Roman, as much as what people want to say about Roman, you just can't deny the guy's work ethic, and what he has done for the whole cancer stuff. And considering that he went through leukemia, you just can't deny that anymore. So, I already spoke about the Women's Classic. And then, so now I'm going to be talking about Rey Mysterio versus Grand Metalik. And the thing is, with Madison Square Garden, like I said, they're like a really lively crowds. You know, they were into a lot of the matches. Despite some people may think the match card might have been a bit bad, but the Madison Square Garden people were really into it. They were really into majority of these matches. Rey Mysterio won here with a 619, followed up by a frog splash to Grand Metalik. I thought it was an alright match. I thought it was an alright match. I thought it was alright. And yeah, if you give these guys time, you actually get to see what they can do. Next we had the triple threat King of the Ring. The winner goes to the finals. It was Ricochet, Samoa Joe, and Baron Corbin. I am not a big fan of Baron Corbin whatsoever. And the fact that Baron Corbin wins, the fact that he won this whole thing, makes me even angry. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to be perfectly honest with every single one of you. When I made that video about the King of the Ring tournament, in the back of my mind, I had a goddamn feeling that this was going to happen. They were going to have Baron Corbin go all the way into the finals. I just had that gut feeling that this was the type of scenario we were going to get. To me, I'm not really all that surprised. As soon as they eliminated Drew McIntyre right away, Andrade right away, and Mustafa Ali right away, not Mustafa Ali, what's his name? Buddy Murphy. As soon as they eliminated all the real winners that we as fans wanted to see, as soon as they eliminated those people, I was like, well, obviously they're going with Baron Corbin. They're obviously doing this just to get Baron Corbin, like, into the goddamn finals. And the fact that Paul Heyman's a big fan of Ricochet and Samoa Joe, you would think Paul Heyman would have pushed for Ricochet or Samoa Joe to go over. And considering that Vince McMahon has this big hard-on for Baron Corbin, it kind of makes you think that Vince McMahon just told Heyman, Corbin's going over. You can't change my... Corbin's going over. The fact that... I understand Vince has the final say. And it's part of the creative booking. I understand that. But Paul Heyman, he's your writer. He's one of your executives. You think you would have at least give him some of the input as well. But to me, this was complete trash. Well, the match itself wasn't bad. It's more trash that Baron Corbin is in the finals. If Baron Corbin wins the King of the Ring, I think this is going to be even worse than Wade Barrett in 2015. I honestly believe that. It's going to be even worse than Wade Barrett in 2015. So Baron Corbin advanced into the finals. He'll be facing either Chad Gable or Elias, which I'm predicting. Obviously, it's going to be Chad Gable. Chad Gable is obviously going to overcome the odds and make it to the finals. So I think it's guaranteed to be Chad Gable. Next we had the sassy sloppy belle, Lacey Evans, and it's a shame for me to say this because I am unfortunately a fan of Lacey Evans. I don't mind her whatsoever, and the fact that I had to sit through this match and watch Lacey Evans completely be sloppy as hell and botch all over the place, it kind of really disappointed me. Because I don't mind Lacey Evans, the Southern lady. And Lacey Evans loses this match. She took on Natalya. She took on Natalya last week. So what's the appropriate thing to do? We'll just have these two wrestle again. But this time we'll have the opposite of the result. Last week Evans won. Where I said last week Natalya should have won. And this week they make the right decision. Because to me, when they did this last week, I was thinking, what was the whole point of making Evans win last week? Because because of the whole storyline that was going on with Natalya being bullied by Sasha Banks and all that. To me, it made no sense. And now you want to right the wrong you made last week? And more importantly, Lacey Evans completely sucked at selling the sharpshooter. For those who saw it on TV, the way she tapped out was completely horrendous and completely awful. Her botching needs to stop. The sassy Southern botcher, I think should be her new name. Considering I'm a fan of hers, and I'm giving her names and I'm giving her names. Such a shame. Such a shame to me. I don't mind Lacey Evans. In the October draft, in the draft that happens next month, I would move the sassy Southern Belle over to the Blue brand. Because I think she really needs to get off of Raw. So then we had Bray Wyatt with Firefly Funhouse. Firefly Funhouse is always entertaining. And so he was making references. I think it's to Stranger Things because he was bringing up Stranger Danger. So I'm guessing it was a call out to Stranger Things. I don't watch Stranger Things, but I think that's what he was referencing to, because he was bringing up how Seth and Braun have made up with the two strangers of Cedric Alexander and the Viking Raiders, and now they're teaming up to take on the OC and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode and all that stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just gonna have to wait and see what goes on from there. But Bray Wyatt is obviously planting seeds on feuding with the Universal Champion. And this is something I have to give a lot of credit to WWE for, because normally they really don't give away, they don't tend to, because we're in September and they're pushing Bray Wyatt to verse the Universal Champion in October. They don't tend to think ahead. They don't tend to book a match ahead of time. So the fact that they're pushing Bray Wyatt's match with them in October, pushing it up to October, and going to have it contested inside Hell in a Cell, I got to give WWE credit, because for once they're actually thinking ahead. People like to give them crap for, not thinking ahead, not thinking ahead of time what they need to do. And now it seems like maybe finally they're learning. Obviously, this is the first time they've done it since a long time, but I will give them credit where it's due. They're thinking ahead of time with Bray Wyatt. Start a feud now. Build up tension with the feud now. And then when Clash of Champions comes around, whoever wins, have the Fiend attack the winner. I think that is the perfect way to begin the feud. You have the Fiend attack Seth or Braun, whoever wins. I really do believe Seth Rollins is going to go over. I think Seth and Braun are going to lose the tag team titles to Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, as much as it pains me to see a random team become Raw Tag Team Champions. I love Robert Roode as well. I know it would be good to see him get another opportunity, but I think they're going to lose the tag team titles, and Seth is going to beat Braun. And then that's going to lead to The Fiend, but the lights shutting out, and The Fiend's going to appear in the ring, and he's going to flatten Seth Rollins. I think that is how they're going to start The Fiend and Seth Rollins feud. So that's where I think they should go with it. It's the way I think that they should handle the situation. And then finally, the main event was, speaking of Universal Champion, Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman teamed up with Cedric Alexander and the Viking Raiders to take on the OC, Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, and the Glorious Show-Offs. I guess that can be the team name. I guess that can be their name, because that's the obvious name I can think of for Roode and Ziggler, the Glorious Show-Offs. I think this is the first time Robert Roode's ever main evented, right? I think this is the first time he's actually ever main evented on WWE television. Think so. Because I don't remember him main eventing on SmackDown. But whatever. That's not really anything important. But either way, but it doesn't really matter. But at the end of this match, you know, love the freaking Viking Raiders, by the way. I really like those guys. They're so energetic. Seeing two 300-pound guys bloody doing crazy flying moves like cruiserweights, it's incredible. So at the end of this thing, Cedric Alexander pins AJ Styles with a lumbar check. So Cedric Alexander is guaranteed to be the next, well, not guaranteed to be the next United States champion, but he's guaranteed the next title shot against AJ Styles. That is a match I would personally really like to see, and I think AJ Styles dropping the title to Cedric Alexander is the right thing I think WWE should do. I think they should have AJ put over a new star, and putting over Cedric Alexander is definitely the right way for them to go, in my personal opinion, because I think it is time to create some new stars, and I think creating Cedric Alexander and crowning him as the United States champion, I think that'll be a great way for WWE to go. And then you can get AJ Styles back into the Universal Championship picture, because to me, AJ Styles is a main eventer. He's not really much of a mid-carder. But anyway, guys, that is all I've got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. I didn't want to get too mad today. I wanted to be more positive and be more positive. I just wanted to talk at my normal pace today. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your thoughts down below. What did you think of Raw? I thought it was a very good show. I thought it was very enjoyable. And I really enjoyed that women's classic, to be honest. So, yeah, see you all next time for SmackDown Live.